Just be there for your kid. If he's got a problem, talk to him about it. Don't let him try and do things on his own. Like, get through everything on his own. You got to be there for him. Even if they don't want to talk, you still got to try. Don't give up.
We live in an era where drugs and alcohol are all too available to teenagers. This is a reality that can and must be changed. Recent state of Illinois statistics reveal that underage drinking in Iroquois County is higher than other counties. This means we all have work to do to help our teens learn how to cope with peer pressure, fitting in, and curiosity or boredom. Some kids are able to say no. Others have a difficult time with no. Together, we can help our teenagers to say yes to safe and healthy choices.
I was 12 when I first smoked. I am 17 years old. I would try my best to hide it until they started seeing things missing. I was always asking for the same amount of money every single day. When they wouldn't give me money, I would get mad. I'd break things. I would say I hate them. I would just throw a big fit because I didn't get that money. Hard to not use? At first, yeah. It's hard to just come here and leave home. You don't want to be away from your family and stuff. So, yeah. It's hard at first, but once you get it through your mind that it's for the best, it starts to get easier. And once you see the progress that you've made and how much of a difference it is, then it gets easier. And you start to want to not use anymore. Some of the work that we have to do here in groups and stuff, they kind of make you see what you used to do. And then when you look back at how much money you've spent, and it just clicks in your head how bad it usually was. You see the truth behind what you've done.
What could your mom and dad have done to keep you from going down this road?
My dad, nothing. My mom, she could have, I don't know, not enabled me, because when I was using, she knew I was using, and she still gave in to giving me money. I would lie to her and say, oh, I'm going to the movies. She didn't have the strength to say no to me. You just gotta have the willpower to say no to your child if you know they're using.
What advice would you give adults who don't know the dangers of teen drinking?
Try going to some type of meeting to get knowledge about the warning signs of what a person that is struggling with addiction does, what warning signs they are having that you should pay attention for. Understand what feelings they're going to be having while they're using, what behaviors. Just understand before it gets worse.
What caused you to relapse?
Me and my dad kind of got into a fight, and I never would have thought my dad would hit me, but it happened. And after that, it was his fault. It was all on him, but I was always blaming myself for it. So I thought I was the wrong with this situation. I thought I'm the reason why he hit me, but he was under the influence himself.
What else do you want people to know?
Know the warning signs. Get to it before it becomes a bigger problem. Stop it in its tracks before it's too late. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to help that person anymore.
What are the top 3 warning signs?
Constantly asking for the same amount of money, coming in late at night when you know you're not supposed to be, and the lies. Make sure to know exactly where your kids are going, if they're actually going to that place they're saying they're going to. Because if my mom knew exactly where I was going, I would not be in this seat right now because she wouldn't have let me leave. You need a safe zone, and that should be your home. Because once you leave this safe zone, you're vulnerable, and once you're vulnerable, you're going to use. And there's nobody there that's going to help you if you leave your safe zone. Thank you for letting me speak.
When I first used, I was about 12 years old, 17 now. At first, it was not that often, like maybe a couple times a month. And then as it progressed, it was getting to like every week and then every day. At first, it was just weed, and then it started into alcohol, like when I was 14, 15.
Why do you think kids start using?
Either curious or peer pressure. Trying to fit in with your friends, they all start using, so you want to look cool, so you use. I don't know, I didn't really like it at first. It was just weird. Didn't feel right. The only reason I really did it was because of friends. Then the more and more I started using, I started to like the feeling. After outpatient, I was sober for about 8.5 months. And then I got back with old friends, and it just started all over again. Started off drinking because I knew I wouldn't get caught, and then one thing leads to another. Ended up smoking again.
If you had one wish, what would it be?
To never take that first hit. Kind of led into everything. Don't turn to drugs. It's not a good way to deal with it. It's just going to lead from one bad thing to another. It's a vicious cycle.
Did your parents talk to you about drinking and drugs?
They didn't really. I mean, my mom and dad divorced when I was young, but like I still see my dad on a regular basis, but they never really talked to me about it. It was just, that's why I was so curious. I wanted to know what it was through school, and my parents never told me what it was. Just be there for your kid. If he's got a problem, talk to him about it. Don't let him try and do things on his own. Like, get through everything on his own. You gotta be there for him. Just try and talk to them. Like, even if they don't want to talk, you still gotta try. Don't give up. Just gotta sit down and try and have that talk with them.
How do you find real friends?
You just gotta try and talk to people. Don't be shy, and actually go up and introduce yourself to people and find that right friend group that's not gonna peer pressure you into doing drugs and drinking and stuff like that. A real friend wouldn't peer pressure you into that. Like, they wouldn't lead you down that path. No one wants to think their kid's out doing drugs, and they just want to think that their kid's all innocent. But sometimes you got to be tough on them, and don't just, like, if they say they're going somewhere, don't just trust them with that. You have to actually like find out where they're going and know that they're going there for sure. I mean, I guess I've kind of been labeled bad, at least in my town, because of my background, because of all the drugs and whatnot, getting put on probation. Everyone makes bad decisions. That don't mean they're a bad person.
We all have a role to play in the prevention of teen drinking. Parents, communities, schools, police departments, churches, neighbors, grandparents, everyone. Our kids are depending on us to set strong rules about drinking and using, to say no when it's easier to say yes, to talk about drinking with them often and openly, to work with your friends and neighbors to keep our kids safe. They're depending on us to keep our eyes wide open, looking closely at what they're doing, not the other way. Tough love does work. They need us to show them how to cope with the stress of teenage years, to help them make healthy choices, to choose living and themselves over peer pressure. Your kids, my kids, their kids, our kids. Together, we can.